All right, so in today's video, we are going to be talking about why you should consider getting a fiberglass pool for your pool choice in your backyard, whether you're going to go with concrete, vinyl liner, or fiberglass. I'm going to be giving you some considerations today as to why you should think about fiberglass as an option. And the way I'm going to do that is we're going to go through some common misconceptions of fiberglass pools and kind of dispel some of those myths / misconceptions and go from there. So let's begin. So one of the misconceptions about fiberglass pools is that they can't be installed in cold climates. Well, we who install pools here in the northern Midwest and Minnesota and Wisconsin, I can tell you firsthand that there's nothing about that that's true. There's nothing about these fiberglass pools that is not suitable for cold climates. These things get hit with -30, -40 wind chills. I mean, they're in the ground, so they're not really affected by that. And I mean, they don't crack. They're not going to buckle or anything like that with the frost. If you use proper installation methods with the proper rock and backfill, you're not going to have problems like that. So there's really nothing about these pools that can't handle the cold. So that's a big myth right there. Another myth is that fiberglass pools are hard to maintain. The reason that we don't agree with this is because fiberglass doesn't have a porous surface similar to what concrete does, and it even has a less of a porous surface than vinyl liner. And because of this less porous surface, it doesn't attract stuff like algae and bacteria the same way that those other pools do. And because of that, it's actually much easier to maintain your water chemistry and keep your pool clean. The robot cleaners do a better job because it's a smooth surface, and it's a lot easier to brush your sidewalls and the floor and just generally keep your pool clean. Speaking of the surface of the fiberglass pool, there's a misconception out there that it's too slippery, that the floor base is too slippery and people can fall and get hurt. People can fall and get hurt in any pool for one, but let's go ahead and look at the surface of this pool. So here's the surface of the pool. This one's still kind of a little sandy due to transportation here, but you can tell that there is a texture here right by my hand. And here is the smooth wall that I was just talking about. So you can see that there's two different texture changes there. This is not hard on your skin by any means, especially compared to concrete. It's going to give you a nice grip and without being too slippery. So I definitely would disagree with the fact that fiberglass pools are too slippery. We've installed a bunch of pools and we've never had any complaints about people falling or anything like that. So definitely a big misconception right there. Another misconception with fiberglass pools is that they can just pop out of the ground at random. This is probably one of the biggest things you've heard about fiberglass pools because they are basically one big hot tub or bathtub that they can pop out of the ground. Now, full truth, this has happened in the past. However, this can happen with any pool, and it's pure physics when you get down to it. Let me explain. All right, so this is my example of the pool popping out of the ground scenario. Take this as your pool, and right now it's floating kind of like a little bathtub. But imagine this water around your pool right here as the groundwater level around your pool after it's been installed. And basically, it's called hydrostatic pressure. It's just physics. It can happen to any pool. So imagine you have the pool water around the pool, and that pool water, when there is more water around the outside of your pool than the water that's inside of your pool, the water will just simply pop it up. It's just physics. This can happen to any pool. So the water around my pool is more than the water that's in my pool because right now I don't have any water in my pool. And if I push it down, the water is going to pop it right back up. Now, when the water pressure is equalized on both the inside of my pool and the outside of my pool, it's still kind of floating a little bit because I don't have it perfect, but it's obviously not popping it to the surface of the water because that's what hydrostatic pressure does. When the pressure is equal between the two forces, nothing happens. Now, what we do to avoid this, if you have a high water table for your pool installation, is we install what we call a dewatering pipe that goes right next to your pool, inside the ground, all the way to the bottom, below the bottom of your pool, actually. And you're able to look down that dewatering pipe after your pool's installed, and you're able to monitor the groundwater level around the outside of your pool. So if the groundwater is getting too high, you can drop a sump pump down there and pump that water out. Due to that dewatering pipe, you can monitor that groundwater, which can avoid that whole myth / misconception of fiberglass pools popping out of the ground. So as long as your pool installer knows that type of method then you'll be fine. Another one is that fiberglass pools don't last as long as concrete pools. 20 plus years ago, the fiberglass pool industry wasn't as good as it is or as strong as it is right now, both reputation-wise and physically. And since then, fiberglass pools have gotten a lot better with their durability and the actual gel coats that make them up. They're pretty strong and they last a very long time. We don't have any case studies that can say that fiberglass pools have lasted 50 years with no issue. And a lot of times people will not maintain their water chemistry properly and it'll start to diminish the finish, whether it's a fiberglass, concrete, or a vinyl liner pool. And because of that, people say that the pool's not going to last as long. It's fiberglass, it's not good. Concrete is going to last you a lifetime. Well, what we say is there's one guarantee with concrete, and that's concrete is going to crack. Fiberglass doesn't have that type of guarantee. And again, since the industry has progressed over time, the gel coats have gotten a lot stronger and they are lasting a lot longer. The manufacturers say that they can last 20 to 30 years with proper water chemistry maintenance. So there you go. Another big misconception is that fiberglass pools can't be customized. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. When you talk about customization, what are you actually talking about? Because we can install as many lights and as many jets that we want to in the sidewalls of the pool. Now, you're going to have to choose between a pre-manufactured shell shape. I'm standing in the River Pool's R series right now. This is an R40. It's 40 foot long by 16 foot wide. That's about the biggest pool that you're going to get. There's some that are longer than 44 feet, but you're not going to find a fiberglass pool that's wider than 16 feet. And that's simply due to shipping restrictions. But anyway, you're going to have to choose a pre-manufactured shell. But when it comes to customization, anything outside the pool on your patio is, well, that's the same with all types of pools. You're not going to be able to customize a fiberglass pool the exact same way that you would a concrete pool, because a concrete pool, you can simply design and structure the rebar with any shapes and sizes that you want, and that's not true for fiberglass. So, in a sense, you can't customize fiberglass pools, but that's definitely not going to be a big issue for a vast majority of people unless they are designing these crazy, extravagant, really massive pools. None of this information is going to be super helpful to you unless you really know what fiberglass pools cost today in 2025. So if you check out this video right here, I'm going to be talking about that exactly. So go over to that video, check out prices. I'll see you there.